Hey friends, I'm back. We're in the middle of renovations here, so it's a lot of work, a lot of mess, a lot of noise, and I finally found some time to make a video. It's something I've been looking forward to for quite a while because I've been trying to find Shomyo music, so it's a type of Buddhist chanting in Japan, and it is part of the soundscape of hitoyogiri. I really wanted to see if I can become more familiar with what people were listening to as they were learning the hitoyogiri, because they wouldn't have needed all the technical explanation and all the detailed explanation that we need nowadays, because for them it was familiar. They were hearing it, they already knew what it was about, and if they were being told things like, oh well, you do a yuri here, they knew what a yuri was, and they knew how to do it, and they knew the different variations that it could be, different ways to play it, because they had heard it in no theater, maybe through the no can, which is the side-blown flute used in no theater. They would have heard it in Shomyo, maybe they would have heard it in Shinto ritual dancing and chanting. It was part of their daily life, and for us it is really not. So, well, I'm talking about yuri, but maybe some of you have forgotten what it actually is. It's the repeating of a note, basically. So you will have pieces of music like, well, I've got my music sheet in front of me. I just switched to the interseason, actually, where, as I record this video, this is the first half of June. And so by the end of June, we're going to transition to the summer mode with its own répertoire, its own music. And when you're about to change mode, there will be 2 weeks in which you will play the interseason mode, which is called doyo in Japanese. And the aim of it was to get attuned and prepare to the new season, either to a heat wave or when you were transitioning to winter, to the cold, and making sure that your home and yourself were ready for those very trying months. So I just took away my music sheet from spring yesterday, and I took out the Ichikotsu melodies. This one is called Rio. I've already played it, and I decided to use it today to demonstrate yuri. I'm not teaching you anything. Remember that I am a student, so there are many things that I don't understand in depth yet, and that I don't necessarily grasp well enough to be teaching anything. But in any case, I like to show you how I am adding some life to the things that I play. And I'm inviting you basically to experiment with me based on the things that I learn and that I share with you. So this is the start of Rio. This song starts straight away with a yuri, and let's hear how it is. This is just the yuri. And actually, I started automatically by making kind of, bigger waves going. Instead of kind of droning on the note, which you are supposed to do in Ichikotsu. So in spring, you're going to have bigger waves like this, because it's kind of reflecting, that energy bursting out of the earth, the sap going up the trees and the plants, and life bursting. Whereas interseason is a grounding mode. So it's going to be, you come back to center and you take it very gently, and it's almost flat. So you'll play it more like this. Hear the difference? Then where I find it becomes difficult is because on hitoyogiri music sheets, the yuri is represented by a dot, And in this specific case, I see, if I look at my music sheet, I see 5 dots, one under the other, and it means you play this low note 5 times before moving on to the next note. But that's all you get. They don't really tell you as visually how it's supposed to sound, whereas Shomyo solves that with their music sheet. Because instead of having notes written one under the other, they've got a line, and this line undulates, showing you exactly when your voice has got to go up, when your tone has got to go up, and when it's got to sink back down. And it shows you the length of the wave. It shows you if it should end abruptly and going up, or on the opposite, abruptly going down, or just gently continuing on. And I find it's a lot more intuitive and a lot easier to understand what you're supposed to do when you've got this line rather than when you just have dots. So this solved a little bit of the mystery of the yuri for me. So yeah, I would really encourage you, if you're a hitoyogiri player and you want to refine your playing and add something while staying close to what people would have played at the time, what they would have been listening to, and what would have influenced them, try to get your hands on a Shomyo music sheet, or try to get a lesson, or try to listen to it. I'm very grateful that my teacher gave us a lesson about it, because I couldn't find any material. I know it's hard to get by, but that's one of the things that I learned from Shomyo. And another thing that I found really interesting is, right, this is future me jumping in. I'm not happy with what I was trying to say before, so I recorded it again and I'm just pasting it here because I think it will be easier to understand. What I was trying to say was that Shomyo taught me to play slower, basically. I like to play slow, but I tend to be scared that it's going to be boring, which is ridiculous because there's generally no one listening to me. But that's it. I tend to play faster because I don't want it to be boring. So, listening to Shomyo changed that, because just seeing the music sheet and seeing how much of a portion of the music sheet one single syllable takes, like it's gonna be, from what I saw, and I only saw one music sheet, so I don't have sufficient knowledge to say this for sure, but it impressed me to see that there was this kanji, so this Chinese character read Japanese style, and it was taking half of the page. It was covering the sound that was made from that kanji. It was ga, if I remember correctly. It took 3 full lines that were bending in all directions, all over the place. And if it had been pop music, like contemporary music, we would have had 5 or 6 sentences crammed in there. But there it was just that one word. And of course, it's meant to be contemplative. It is religious music after all. But it gave me a better sense of the value of one sound and the importance of it in itself. Do you see what I mean? I know it's a little bit abstract, but it helped me a lot to take my time and to take the note as a whole, rather than already being thinking about how I'm going to move on to the next note to make the music sound right. There is no goal in the music, if you see what I mean. It's more, the note that you are playing is the achievement in itself. You are very much, it's a music of the moment. It's a very Zen thing, actually. But it's very much, you're staying in the moment, you're enjoying the note, and the note sort of loads itself. It charges itself with a certain amount of energy that gets handed over at some point. It's like a tipping point. It's a bit like the functioning of the yin-yang, if you're familiar with those notions. At some point, it's going to tip and turn into its opposite. And here, the note is going to be to reach its climax and get ready to move into the next one. And you have to be very present into that process to know exactly where the tipping point is and where it's ready to either fade or turn into something else. And that's something that I could already, I guess, feel because we learn that at the lessons, and because when you play every day, you get a certain instinct, a certain feeling for it. But here it was even more obvious when I had a visual of it unraveling before my eyes, and it was very pleasant. So this is something that I wouldn't have processed consciously, I guess, if I hadn't had that Shomyo lesson. So this is what I wanted to say. I give the mic back to past Audrey. What I could do now that I've found a way to record voice and flute at the same time without having recording issues, sound issues, I could try to play Rio, the full of Rio now. This is going to be an interesting experiment because I'm a little bit rusty. I haven't played it for a few months because I was in the spring répertoire. So let's see how it sounds. And yeah, we can discuss it along the way. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I always need to play a song several times because it takes me a little bit of time to wrap my ear around it, to get the notes to tune the notes the way I want them to be, and to sort of decide what I want to do with each one of them. So this was kind of a nice warm-up, just to think, okay, I see what it is, I see where I'm going, but now I'm going to refine it. So if I were to play it again, I would probably put more variety in the yuris at the start. We get quite a bit of guidance here, actually. On the first note, we get information like you should start at the lowest. So instead of straight away diving into you start low. And it straight away gives a more dramatic entrance and entry into the piece. Then you get information on one of the notes. You say you gotta yuri it, and then you gotta bring it down again, do an ori on it. Like you will end the phrase like I don't know. I feel now that I've got it, let's play it again and put a little bit more of that Ichikotsu meets Shomyo thing in it. One thing that is unforgiving about the hitoyogiri is if you're the slightest bit nervous and your breath shakes or your lips shake a little bit, you'll hear it in the flute, and you could hear it here. That I know I'm recording myself, and so it's a little bit harder, and I get shaky. But I prefer this version actually, because the yuri was closer to what it should sound like in Ichikotsu. I was also a little bit happier with the tuning, although transitioning from oo to ho, I find sometimes I'm not quite catching, doing the right head movement and flute movement, because you gotta tilt the flute to tune the notes you tune on the fly, remember. And I feel it's still a little bit clunky, but it's part of the charm of the hitoyogiri. I like the fact that it won't be like the records that I've played for so many years, where the note is very predictable, you don't get any surprise, and it also won't vary depending on the day you're having. And here I get all these spontaneous variations. There's the things that are out of my control, and then there's the things that are within my control. That's one of the reasons why I keep coming back to this flute, and I made it my main musical instrument. And I don't feel interested in playing any other flute, really. I still play the shakuhachi, but it's more of an inward practice, like more of a spiritual thing only, whereas there is enjoyment here as well as that spiritual side of things. I find a good balance here. This is a good place to be, I feel. And yeah, if you have ideas, if you have insight, if you have information, make sure to drop me a message. I'd be very happy to hear about you, because we're a very small community, and it's always nice to find like-minded people. So in any case, thank you for being here, and I will see you very soon. Bye.